The Masonic Order has an imprint on the Church of God and Saints of Christ, beginning with Prophet William Saunders Crowdy, its reestablisher. We'll talk with Brother Eugene Dudley, who has decades in Masonry and in the Shriners, and has been a teacher in the Church of God and Saints of Christ for just as long. Actually, he's been a district Sabbath school superintendent since 1993. So thank you, Brother Dudley, for meeting with me so we can contribute on this Black History Month program by talking about the influence of Masonry in the Church of God and Saints of Christ.
All right. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for thinking of me to think that I can come up to the task of meeting your expectations.
Yes. Well, can you maybe start with the organizational structure that the prophet brought?
Well, as I had indicated, the prophet's Masonic footprints. The prophet said that he brought the best of Masonry as perceived by him into this to our organization. And the thing was, or our congregation, as opposed to the organization. And the thing was, he viewed, or he wanted order and decorum. In the Masonic Lodge, order is maintained, by the worshipful master. And if the worshipful master is not there, then the second in charge is the senior warden, who assists him in opening and closing the lodge. And if he is absent, then it is the junior warden.
So let's see how this connects to what the prophet did.
He would go around and start a tabernacle and leave people in charge. Now, when he left members in charge, he left the elder, and when he did it, the structure was the elder was first, the deacon was second, and the Sabbath school superintendent was third. If the elder wasn't there, the deacon was in charge. If the deacon and the elder wasn't there, it was the Sabbath school superintendent that was in charge. That, there's always order and decorum in our organization. So that's how he established that.
Now, what about the all-seeing eye? Because I used to see that in our actual tabernacles, and it's on the cover of some of our books.
Well, the thing is, in Masonry, they have the all-seeing eye, and it represented the fact that you may lie to yourself, you can lie to your friends, your neighbors, or whoever. But the thing is, with that all-seeing, you cannot lie or hide from the Most High God. So that all-seeing eye was just to keep you in remembrance that God is always looking after us and looking at us. He sees what you do and he hears what you say. They should have had an all-seeing ear in there. But,
Yes, and there's also a part that has an influence on the daughter's quorum, right?
Yeah, well, with the daughters, see, when the prophet, the first department that he set up was the daughters. Now, in Masonry, you have female Masons, which the name is referred to as the Order of the Eastern Star. The Eastern Stars, it's a five-pointed, a five-pointed star. And on each point is where each of those daughters sat. And they got up there, and the various, they have various names of biblical characters in there. I can't remember the names, but the thing is, they, the prophet knew that they had like standing type of programs and projects that they were supposed to carry out, over the year under the auspices of the worthy matron. Now the thing is, they also had they also had a man there, to number one, to serve as a protectorate, and number two, to somehow keep some type of semblance of order. So when the prophet set up the Daughters of Jerusalem, Sister of Mercy, he used 7 women, and the man that was also was placed there with the same pretty much the same duties.
Okay.
To again keep some semblance of order and as a protectorate. And instead of him being called the worthy patron, he was called the Father Abraham. The exhorting daughter was the one to encourage and cheer on, the other daughters, and the storehouse mistress was like a quartermaster, like a quartermaster. All of the tie, not the ties, but the food and the clothes and things along that line, they kept them intact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now there's a whole lot more that we can't fully cover, but I know there's history beyond the prophet's time with Masonry and the Church of God and Saints of Christ, including with our leaders. I know Bishop A.C. Plummer, right? He was well respected in Masonry, isn't he?
When I thought about it, how the prophet really kicked off this
succession.
Not so much. Well, you could say the succession, but the order of Masonry, the structure, the structure. He could have just identified one individual, but what he did was he got and established 3 at the same time. Mm-hmm. 3 under the using the chief as worshipful master, the William Henry Plummer as the senior warden, and Calvin F. Skinner as the junior warden. That structure was right there. Now, see, that was how he inputted. That's how he developed it. And the counselor got up there, and who was the junior warden, who was in charge after the worshipful master and the senior warden, passed. He got up there and identified or placed his hands on H.Z. Plummer now to be the next leader. Now, he was H.Z. Plummer was a man's man in the Mason. He was the worshipful, the Grand Master in Virginia. He was, in addition to that, he was all of, pretty much everything. He was a Knights Templar, was in the Red House, the Purple House, all these houses of enlightenment where you gain more and more knowledge. Now, when we deal with things, we're surface dwellers. We are surface dwellers. We just sit up there and we see things and we deal with the tip of the iceberg, never going deeper than that, like some of us do. Rabbi Howard was the type of individual, that, I mean, he a Hebrew Israelite. He, he served as the imperial lecturer in the shrine. Now, in the shrine, as a shrine of the ancient Egyptian, Arabic, or the nobles of Mr. Shrine, that house is almost like dedicated towards Islam. All right, the red house is pretty much Judaism. You find the purple house, Judaism. Knights Templar is Christian. Like that's how it pretty much goes. Now the thing is, here it is. Rabbi Howard wrote the ritual for Islam, for the Islamic quiz or test in the shrine.
Okay.
How bad he was.
Yes, sir.
It has nothing to do with Masons or anything like that. But the thing is, he also served, as the president of the Hampton, the Hampton Roads Ministers Conference and things like that. And they kept voting him in. That's how good he was. He was they offer in the consistory, which is the Scottish Rite side of Masonry, where you get your 32nd degree. He receives your 33rd degree is the zenith, so to speak. You have the honorary, and then you have the actual.
Okay.
He got both of them.
Mm-hmm.
He got both of them. That's how like how tough he was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, this is wonderful. Any other information you think would be good for us to get, maybe on the present day influences that we may have in the Church of God and the Saints of Christ?
What I really wanted to bring to you, was the in the Royal Arch, which is Judaism. You're dealing with tabernacles and things along that line. Now, each, like they have 4 veils in the Royal Arch, and you have to, as you approach one veil, you're challenged before you can go to the next veil, and you have to get challenged, to before you can proceed all the way up through all 4 veils before you get up to near the high priest. What happens is, like that same situation is almost set up in our organization. Mm-hmm. That structure, where you have 4 men who fill in the gaps, meaning that, before you can supposedly move within our organization. Now, this is way off course though. But I'm not. If you look at, you heard the prophet say that I got down just in time to save Israel from 70 years of bondage. If you get up there and you add 70 to 1894, you're going to come up with 1964. And that was the Great Civil Rights Act, where they prevented people from being discriminated, blacks from being discriminated in this thing. So the words of a prophet does not come back void.
We got to do some more, conversations, Brother Dudley, and just beyond this wonderful talk about Masonry and the Church of God and the Saints of Christ. I just think there's a whole lot to uncover for generations to come. And thanks again, Brother Dudley.
Thank you again for encouraging me and trusting me, because I generally am all over the place. Because I have so much stuff running through my head, that it's almost like my singing. I know all the voices, but I sing them all at the same time, and I mess up.
All right. Well, peace be unto thee.
Back at you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and like this video.